oligopoly has the same meaning and features, but monopsony only coming meanings. But we will try to complete the feature also, so that you can better have knowledge on that topic also. So let's start. The first point is perfect competition. So what is the meaning of perfect competition? Is a market structure in which there are a large number of producers, firms producing a homogeneous products that no individual firm can influence the price of the commodity. Means that the perfect competition is a market structure where are only large numbers of producer, and they produce different kinds of products that no individual firm can make can give that the price of that commodity. And the features is there are many features. First is large number of buyers and sellers. There are a large number of buyers and sellers of the commodity under perfect competition. Easy to small to exert any influence on the price of the commodity by his action. This means that under perfect competitions, firms produce such a small part of the total market output that a change in its output will not have any noticeable on the market supply. Hence the price is on the price of the commodity. So what is the meaning of large number of buyers and sellers? In this perfect competition, there are many large numbers of buyers and sellers in these perfect competitions of a commodity, and they can exert very small influence on the price of the commodity by their action, and this means that under perfect competitions, a firm can produce a small part of outputs that can change noticeable and effect on the market supply. Something different market supply. There are many fluctuation in market supply can happen, and that's why hence on the price of the commodity. So that's why of the commodity there are many price fluctuations. For example, bread, modern bread, the price was 26, now the price became 28. So many price fluctuations are there because there are large numbers of buyers and sellers and has perfect competition. So next features. Second feature is homogeneous product. All the firms under perfect competition produce homogeneous or identical product commodities. The homogeneity of the product refers not only to the physical characteristics of the commodity such as quality, color, size, design, chemical, ingredients, etc., but also to the environmental factors such as location of the seller, credit facility, etc. Therefore, homogeneity of the product implies when both the physical characteristics of the product and the conditions surrounding the sales environmental factors are exactly the same. In these features, homogeneous product means the specification of product that company can only make this product. For example, modern can make bread also. They are very huge demand of bread of modern, and so it has modern has identical commodity such as bread, and it has the quality, it has the specific quality, it has specific design of outer packaging. There are many chemical ingredients, and it is also environmental factors, also location of the sellers, credit facility, they have the credit facility modern, and therefore the homogeneity of the product implies when both the physical characteristics of the product and the conditions surrounding the cell's environmental factors are exactly the same. So number 3 is freedom of entry and exit. Perfect competition is characterized by the freedom of entry and exit. This means that new firms are free to enter and industry and start producing if they so wish, and existing firms are free to cease production and leave the industry if they so desire. That perfect competition is characterized by the freedom of entry and exit, and this means that whichever new firms come has something rules. You can come, you can join to that firm, also you can exit anytime to that firm. You can leave the firm anytime, you can join that firm anytime as your wish, and the existing firm is free to production and you can leave the industry if they so desire, and there are no restriction in legal, natural or man-made on the entry of the new firms into and the exit of the old firm from the industry. So conditions that free entry and free exit ensure that all the firms under perfect competition ends up earning only normal profit in the long run. If the existing firms are earning abnormal profit, for new firms would enter the industries and increase the total market. And number 4 is perfect mobility of resources. Another important characteristics of perfect competition is that the resources of resources or factors of production can enter into or quit from the industries at will. These characteristics so perfect mobility of resources means it has the another important characteristic of perfect competition is that the resources is perfectly mobile. Without mobile it's nothing of resources, so there is characteristic that you can enter in this firm, so you can quit in these industries. Its characteristics of and that the resources are able to switch over from one user to another distraction. So these conditions makes the entry of the firm into an exit of the firm from the industry possible. Okay, so number 5 is perfect knowledge. We all know for this situation and upcoming future, you should be a perfect knowledge. You have the perfect knowledge. Without the perfect knowledge you cannot join in any firms or industry. Consumer firms and resources owners under perfect competitions have perfect knowledge about the market conditions. Each firm knows the price prevailing in the market and it would not sell the commodity at the price below the market price. Similarly, each buyer has perfect knowledge about the prevailing price and the characteristics of the product being sold, and he is not prepared to pay a higher price than the price prevailing in the market. That perfect knowledge means that it's saying that consumer firms, resources owners should have the perfect knowledge. Without perfect knowledge they cannot participate in any competition and about in the market conditions. So each firms had the price prevailing in the market. Is not to sell the commodity at the price below the market price. So they should be have the perfect knowledge so that they can competition with everybody in the firms. Last is that absence of transport cost. Another features of perfect competition is that the buyers and sellers incur no transport cost and purchasing and selling goods. In other words, there is no cost of transportation. This assumption is necessary to maintain uniform price throughout the market. Otherwise, the price for identical goods would differ if transport costs are uh, are added to the price of the production. So absence of transport cost says that it has the another features of perfect competition for buyers and seller also, and it does not carry transport cost, purchasing and selling goods. It doesn't take any cost of it. We can say in other word also that no transportation cost is required. We should not give any transportation cost for the perfect competition, and it maintain the price of the market. Otherwise it will be very difficult that price for identical goods will be differ from the transport cost are added to the price of the product. So let's move to the second meaning of monopoly. And so meaning of monopoly is a market structure where in which there exists only a single seller or sole producer of the products which has no close substitute. So monopoly is that it's a market structure where there are only single sellers and sole producers of a product, and it has no close substitute. We say that tea and coffee, they are both substitute goods, but monopoly market is that market where has different goods, where it has no any close substitute. So we should learn about features also of monopoly. First is single seller. Single seller says that monopoly is a market situation where there is only one seller or producer called monopolist of a commodity. It is the case of one firm or producer controlling the supply of the product. Since there is only one seller, any change in the amount of output produced by the monopolist would have a significant influence on the market. Single seller says that the monopoly market situation where there is only one seller or producer called monopolist of the market, and it is the case that one firm can only produce and control their supply of the product. Since there are only one seller, any change in the amount of output produced by the monopolist would have a significant influence on the market price. So next slide we will move. Number second is absence of close substitute. We saw in the meaning also that monopoly says that it has no close substitute. So why they have no close substitute? We see a second feature is very most important, that monopolies produce such a commodity which has no close substitute to the goods which can be easily used for each other and are available at nearly the same price are known as close substitute. And number 3 is closed entry. Closed entry, a monopoly market is characterized by close entry to the prospective producer. Monopoly is characterized by barrier to entry, which exist when entrepreneur face obstacles while joining a profitable industry. There are some barriers of or restriction on the entry of new firms into the monopoly industry. The close entry made insert from natural, legal, or man-made restriction. Close entry is another characterized that it has many prospective producers, and we cannot enter in this firm because monopoly has a barrier to entry, and which exists the entrepreneur face obstacle while joining a profitable industry. So there are some barriers, restriction on the entries of new firms into the monopoly industry. So we cannot. There are many restrictions in natural, legal, or man-made restriction. And last one is fourth one is price maker. A monopoly firm is a price maker or price setter. It is the sole producer of product. It can exercise considerable influence on the market supply of the commodity and thereby its price. Monopoly represent a situation of a high market powerful stock firms with market power is called price maker. Monopoly firms is a price maker and price setter. It has a sole producer of a product. It can give the market supply of a commodity. It can make own decision of price of a commodity, and it represent a situation that high market powerful stock a firm with a market power is called price maker. So up to this. So today till this much only. Part 2 is coming soon on our channel, so stay tuned. Happy learning. Take care and bye bye.